I bought these hoagie buns about 3 weeks ago. And if you look at the Best Buy, or Best Before date on them, that was a week ago. So they've been sitting on my counter in this bag, basically open for the entire time. And you know what? They're totally fine. They are still soft. They have not a spot of mold on them. And other than the fact that they're super old, I don't think there's any reason you couldn't eat those. Now, as somebody who makes bread, I know that this is not fucking normal. This is totally not normal, especially for enriched dough. Now, if you have just basic dough, which is flour, water, salt, and yeast, your bread tends not to go moldy very quickly, but it will dry out. Enriched bread, on the other hand, which has oil and sugar in it, primarily, will rapidly go moldy if it's not protected properly. So, what is going on here, eh? This, as someone who does not buy bread very often, this sends up alarm signals for me. And of course, the bag is quite helpful in sussing out what exactly is going on here. It would appear that the magic ingredient here is calcium propionate. And they make no bones about it. They say it's preservative right off the bat. So if this stuff, this calcium propionate, is that good at preventing mold and bacterial growth on bread, what could it be doing inside your body? Now here's the shocker. The interesting thing about calcium propionate is pretty much fucking nothing. Now, just a word of caution here. If you are a bacteria and watching this video, calcium propionate is going to give you a shitload of trouble. Because what it will do once you get it into your system is break down into something that competes for the metabolism of glucose. And glucose is necessary to keep you alive. So, if you're mold, avoid this stuff. In humans, however, the situation is a wee bit different. If you are eating any sort of fats at all, then you are creating a substance in your body called propionic acid. And calcium propionate is a salt of propionic acid. Propionic acid gets modified and turned into something called succinate. And that goes into this machine called the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle, that converts that substance into energy. So really, there's very little downside, I would say no downside, to eating calcium propionate. I know there's lots of people out there that think food preservatives are basically chemical black magic, some sort of evil concocted by food corporations to preserve their food and at the same time kill the human population, but clearly this is not the case here. This is a very safe substance to be putting into food. If you're worried about this at all, then by all means bake your own bread, because almost every baked product on the shelf in a bag is going to have something similar to this in it. As tempting as it is to look at the bag and see the word preservative and get your gitch in a knot about it, it's really not worth it. This stuff is fine. It's not very tasty. It has a terrible texture, but it won't kill you, and it won't actually do you any harm. In fact, when these people are using calcium propionate, it actually is a reasonable source of calcium. So, because that calcium is stripped off right away, and it does seem to increase people's calcium levels. So if you're worried about bone density, you know, maybe eat more of this pasty bread. There are plenty of reasons not to eat this crap, but calcium propionate ain't one of them. Hope you found this interesting. Cheers, everyone.